KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matson and the Adahi Tanu program. Cars Plus reminds you to put your phone down while driving. Distractions won't get you there. Heads up, Guam. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dedido. Always open, always local.
Ahead on primetime, is incineration a viable option for Guam? Nestor Lecanto has more on this alternative for the island's solid waste system. Plus, senators confirm several department heads, including the chief of police. We go on board a submersible that's headed to the deepest part of the Marianas Trench.
Hafidane, good evening. Is incineration a viable alternative for the island's solid waste system? A former representative of the company that signed a contract for an incinerator thinks it is. An upcoming court hearing will decide the next step in the deal that is yet to be executed after more than 20 years. Nestor Lecanto reports.
David Sablon says he no longer represents the company, GRRP, but he still supports incineration, or waste to energy, as an important part of an integrated solid waste plant, especially for an island with limited land.
We have an agreement with the government. GRP will take care of the waste. You bring it, we'll burn it, and we will produce electricity. That's GRP's side. The government just brings the solid waste to the facility.
Sounds simple, but over the years, the critics have said incineration and the power created would be too costly. Guam doesn't produce enough waste to make it economically viable, and incinerators produce hazardous emissions.
That is not true at all. There are 142 incinerators operating in the United States. I just came back from Japan last week. There is incineration throughout that country because they're an island country. And as a result, land is very precious.
He says that would be one of the major benefits to Guam as well.
It lessens the amount of land that you need every 8 or 10 years for another landfill cell, because you would be transferring ash rather than solid waste. And ash effectively is 10% the volume of the solid waste that goes into the incinerator. So
he says the company's analysis has convinced them there is more than enough solid waste to make incineration viable. And as for the cost?
It is much cheaper to operate a solid waste plant in connection with a landfill than it is for a landfill alone.
Sablon says as for the environmental concerns, incinerators must meet stringent EPA requirements, and any emissions would have to be safe. But he'll have to convince the governor of that in a recent news conference announcing that Gov Guam will soon regain control of the solid waste system. She was asked about her take on incineration.
I am not going to allow incineration as long as I am the governor of Guam. I would rather divert my resources, my energy and efforts into recycling and organic ways of reducing waste. Incineration creates byproducts of very toxic material that does not at all go away. Dioxin is one of them, and if it gets into our waters and so forth, it is a chemical, very hazardous chemical that is very dangerous and very toxic to the people of Guam.
GRRP sued the government for $20 million to force it to uphold the contract. Sablon says the court ordered the parties into arbitration 2 years ago, and the company is waiting on legislation that explicitly exempts it from the law banning incineration.
If that isn't done, then this lawsuit would go forward and it would go to trial.
A hearing in Superior Court that could determine that next step is set for May 6th. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
We brought you the story on our social media last night. Stephen Ignacio was unanimously confirmed as the new chief of police. He was one of several key department heads winning the approval of senators late Thursday. Ignacio's nomination had been held up by a psychological evaluation that deemed him unfit to serve. But a follow-up evaluation found that he had satisfactorily complied with the recommendations of the clinical psychologist. Also getting unanimous approval were National Guard Adjutant General Esther Agagi, Corrections Director Samantha Brennan, Customs Director Ignacio Paredo, Budget Director Lester Carlson, and Public Broadcasting General Manager Ina Carrillo. Lawmakers also passed 8 bills. They include a $200,000 appropriation for new police surveillance cameras and a reduction in the business privilege tax to 3% for companies who earn $250,000 or less in revenue. Legislative session reconvenes on Monday, the 29th. 2 former employees of the Jotnya Mobile Tenda station are charged with stealing almost $240,000. According to court documents, Marish Ann Vergerger Robago and Jessica Rose Tanantongo were caught after an audit was conducted. Robago admitted that around May of last year she began taking money once or twice a week, but by the end of 2018 she was taking from revenues daily. Tanantongo admitted that Robago had taught her how to modify receipts and started taking money on multiple occasions. Both were charged with theft of property held in trust as a second-degree felony. A 15-year-old girl beat repeatedly with a broomstick lands 2 people in jail. The first one, 33-year-old Inocencia Yamada de los Santos, is not only accused of striking the girl, but also then throwing a speaker at her, which struck her head, causing a cut. The other person arrested was 37-year-old Centerico de los Santos. He's accused of grabbing a cut piece of a garden hose and striking her twice. The alleged incident occurred on April 15th. Apparently, the girl was in trouble for riding her bike at night. When police arrived that evening to investigate, the couple allegedly told police everything was fine and nothing happened. However, they noticed the girl had an injury on her head. The pair was charged with interference with the reporting of family violence, assault, and child abuse. After a night out of drinking, 24-year-old Edward Naron allegedly returned home, drank some more, and then allegedly got in a fight with a woman. Naron is accused of pushing the woman to the ground, punching her several times, and when she got up, began choking her. He ended up releasing her after she bit him. The victim grabbed her son and ran to the neighbor's house and called 911. Naron faces charges of family violence. They are considered armed and dangerous, so do not approach them. Instead, call police immediately. GPD is looking for 36-year-old William Yamnang, 40-year-old Xavier Tatautau, and 26-year-old Joanna Babalta. The 3 are from Jotnya and are wanted for questioning in connection to a recent rash of robberies and thefts. If you've seen them or know of their whereabouts, you're urged to call GPD dispatchers at 472-8911 or call Guam Crime Stoppers. The number is 477-4357. The Guam Power Authority has received reports that there are people at large in the community who are claiming to be counting power meters, presenting themselves as GPA employees. But the public is advised that any and all GPA employees performing field work do so driving GPA official vehicles and wearing official identification badges. GPA wishes to further advise that employees do not collect money or payments while out in the field, nor request for random access to homes, properties, or facilities. The public should use caution when approached by anyone claiming to work for GPA and request to see their ID. Report all suspicious behavior to authorities. Combating homeless in our community, a variety of organizations gathered in Guam's capital to provide a one-stop shop of resources. Carmen Turlahi has this next story.
Passport to Services happens every year to provide help for Guam's growing homeless population.
There's individuals who are homeless, and there's a lot of barriers to them seeking or accessing shelter.
The event, sponsored by the Guam Homeless Coalition and the VA's office, provides free haircuts, immunizations, job opportunities, and even free meals. Diana Calvo, Executive Director of Catholic Social Services, part of the Guam Homeless Coalition, says the collaboration across government agencies and the private sector even helps those at risk of homelessness who may suffer from a mental illness.
Individuals that may have a mental illness or who have some form of disabilities, those are part of our vulnerable population, and they are at risk if they have no natural supports.
A homeless male seeking shelter at a bus stop in Santa Rita recently caught the attention of social media, many calling the mayor to remove the individual. Guam Education Board Chairman Mark Mendiola says bus stops are the first facility students visit on their way to school.
You want to make sure that that our kids are safe. And so, of course, it raised a lot of red flags for a lot of people. If you're in a community where the bus stops there are problems, please let your mayors know. Let DPW know, and we'll try and get to the work together to kind of get the area fixed.
His advice is, quote, if you see something, say something. In this case, GPD says they're working with DISID and the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center. For Calvo, it's a larger issue of getting the right resources to homeless in every village.
The bottom line also is there's limited resources. You know, our shelters are always full. We have a wait list, even for treatment services. It really takes a village not only to raise a child, but to help everybody. And you know, there's no one organization that can do the work all by themselves. It really has to be a collective effort.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Carmen Victoria Trilaki.
Stay tuned. We're back with more news after the break.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
A simple handshake. That's all Jake Calvo needed when he started his company. Today, 80 years later, we like to say thank you to all of you who have taken our hand in trust. Thank you to the dreamers. Thank you to the realists. Thank you to the family-oriented. Thank you to the entrepreneurial. Thank you to those climbing the corporate ladder. And to the ones starting a new life together. Thank you to the traditionalists and the edgy. To the young at heart and the old souls. Thank you to the daring, to the protective, to the practical. Thank you to the hopeful. To all of you from all of us, our deepest, happiest, and infinite thanks.
80 years here for you. 80 years thanks to you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
The next generation Galaxy has arrived. See it and believe it. The Infinity O displays the most innovative Galaxy screen yet. Capture the wider world. Take stunning photos with a 123-degree field of vision. Use your phone to charge other wireless charging devices. Don't just stand out, stand apart.
Autism Community Together of Guam is a support group for individuals with autism spectrum disorders and their families. We are a group of parents and caregivers who have children with autism spectrum disorders and understand the joys and challenges in raising them. To learn more about ACT or to join our family, call Joe Bloss at 687-1284. Send an email to autismcommunityguam@gmail.com or visit us at Autism Community Together on Facebook.
Welcome back. The deepest point in the world's oceans. That's what's bringing the 5 Deeps expedition team to Guam. In just a few days, the team will attempt to spend the most time at the bottom of the deepest part of the Marianas Trench. Chris Barnett was on board the pressure drop and files this report.
Puerto Rico, Antarctica, Indonesia, the Arctic. Now, these places boast the 4 deepest points in their respective oceans, but none of them as deep as the Marianas Trench's Challenger Deep. 200 miles southwest of Guam and nearly 7 miles down. Enter 5 Deeps, dubbed the world's first manned expedition to the deepest point in each of the world's 5 oceans. The team on Guam for dive number 4. Expedition leader Rob McCallum and 5 Deeps financier Victor Vescovo will hit rock bottom in the limiting factor, a $48 million, 12-ton, 2-man submersible sporting a 4-inch thick titanium hull capable of staying underwater for 16 hours with an emergency life support time of 96 hours. Now, this expedition, not just some rich guy's bucket list, the 5 Deeps gathering valuable scientific data. Now, the Challenger Deep Dive will be 25% deeper than the deepest dive 5 Deeps has been on in Puerto Rico, and Vescovo says this by far will be the most dangerous dive the expedition has seen.
It will put the most intense strain that we've ever had on all the components of the submersible. So if there's a failure of any kind, it'll probably happen at extreme depth like that.
The year-long expedition took years of planning, and 3 of the dives had to be worked around the Arctic and Antarctic dives. Because if the expedition hit those spots during the wrong part of the year, the ocean's surface would be completely frozen over. Expedition leader Rob McCallum.
Everything else had to fit in between those 2 dates. So it's no coincidence that we're always where we need to be at the best time of the year. including here.
Five Deep's expecting a week of smooth weather for the trip to Challenger Deep. It'll take 3 hours to reach bottom, and Vescovo and McCallum plan to spend up to 5 hours there, gathering data and samples. Also on board the pressure drop, retired Navy Captain Don Walsh, himself a maker of history. Walsh was on the bottom of the trench 60 years ago, one of a two-man crew that made history, staying on the bottom for just 20 minutes because of silty conditions. Walsh remembers when he surfaced from Challenger Deep decades ago, and he says he didn't think at the time it would take so long for someone to come back to the trench.
And we say, how long before somebody comes back here? And we finally agreed maybe 2 years. Maybe 2 years. It was 50 years, almost to the day. So, and it's no matter of pride that we left this place unexplored for a half century. It just doesn't work. And so I'm delighted. More the merrier.
Walsh may be a generation apart from most of the Five Deep's crew, but he says one thing they share, the explorer's spirit. Vescovo agrees. He also conquered the 7 summits, climbing the highest mountain on each continent. And he tells KUAM News he's had the drive to do what he's doing since he was a young boy.
So it comes from within. I have an intense desire and need to go out into places and explore them with my own eyes. I was in the U.S. Navy for 20 years, so I have an affinity for the sea. And after climbing got a little too dangerous and I started getting a little older, I thought, hey, how about going in the opposite direction?
The Five Deep's expected to return to Guam from their Challenger Deep Dive on May 9th. For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Students showcased their science projects at Mount Carmel School Cafeteria. Middle school students presented research for their annual science fair, including 6th grader Diego Kamasura, who studied the details of a hydraulic claw.
These syringes help control the robot. The first syringe controls the claw, and then the second one controls the head, and the third one controls the stem. So in order for me to make this robot more advanced, I would like to study more and to learn more about how to create a better advanced robot. It's important to study robotics because today's world is getting more advanced. New cell phones, new iPads, it's getting more advanced. So in order to make people happy and help a lot of people.
Community members came to judge the science fair. The goal is to inspire students like Diego to learn about science and possibly pursue degrees in STEM. Pledging to promote the Hafaday spirit, a handful of senators at the 35th Guam legislature took the Hafaday pledge. GVB started the initiative in 2009, and to date, over 800 local organizations to total 40,000 individuals have signed it. Senators also thanked students from MU Lujan for showcasing their talent and promoting the Chamorro culture. The University of Guam Board of Regents selected their top picks to lead the board. Christopher Felix was elected as chair, Mary Flor Herrero as vice chairperson, and Gerald Philish will serve as treasurer. UOG President Thomas Kreis serves as the executive secretary of the board. Regents are appointed by the governor and confirmed by the legislature to serve a term of 6 years. Next week will be celebrated as Law Week, with Wednesday proclaimed as Law Day. Top leaders from all 3 branches of government were joined by middle and elementary school students for the proclamation signing at Adelup. Guam Bar Association President Attorney Jacqueline Terlahi read this year's declaration, which reminds us of the freedoms afforded by the First Amendment.
This year's Law Day theme is free speech, free press, free society. And whereas the First Amendment to the United States Constitution states that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances.
The students will also be participating in the annual mock trial event, where they will take part in a simulated court proceeding. Strolling down south, a beautiful mural may have caught your attention at the Seti Bay Overlook. Co-chair for Independent Guahan, Dr. Michael Bavacqua, says while they are committed to certain issues, he acknowledges that there are several talented artists within the group, and they were looking for ways to engage the community and make a statement. So along with adopting the park, they painted a mural designed by artist Keith Siswico on the retaining wall.
He used sort of the gathering of the canoes for Festpac in Guam as the image, so that when Guam and the canoes from here joined with canoes from other islands in Micronesia and the Pacific at FESPAC. And so we felt like that was a strong image, beautiful, relevant, but also just a strong statement about how Guam needs to join the rest of the Pacific.
To celebrate the completion of the wall and to thank all the volunteers, the Umatic Mayor's Office, Department of Parks and Recs, and Commission on Decolonization, a kulu blowing blessing of the Nalotla Independent Guahan mural will take place on Saturday at 5 p.m. The community is invited to attend. Stay tuned. Dave Delgado has sports next, but first, here's weather.
Looking for a great deal on a new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram? Then get to Cars Plus in Mighty now for our spring sales event. Like a new Jeep Compass Sport, $166 per paycheck. Or a new Chrysler Pacifica LX, $220 per paycheck. Or save $8,500 on a new Ram 1500. How about a new Jeep Wrangler Sport? Only $274 per paycheck. Low 1.99% financing is available on approved credit. Save thousands during our spring sales event going on now at Cars Plus in Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
MTO, professional janitorial services with a warm hospitality touch. MTO gives that gift year-round. Pressure wash roofs, pressure wash driveways, lawn service, home cleaning, carpet restoration, office cleaning, commercial window cleaning, floor care. When cleaning is in order, MTO has you covered. Call 647-6861 to inquire on how you can receive the maintenance you deserve.
MTO, celebrating 30 years with you, Guam.
Visitors make memories on our island. They contribute millions of dollars every year to our community. So what does that mean? Tourism keeps our island's culture alive.
And it strengthens our identity as Chamorros.
Tourism creates opportunities for local businesses to thrive.
The dishes I create feature local ingredients.
These ingredients come from local farms and create local jobs for farmers like us.
For every job we see in tourism,
there are hundreds more we don't see.
From teachers
to babysitters
to engineers.
We all work in the tourism industry.
Our visitor industry benefits everyone. It improves our income and gives back to our community.
Meaning more opportunities for a better Guam. Kids and works for Guam.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
We're here at Darren's home, Daddy Doe, for our Athlete of the Week. Today we have FD volleyball player Aiden McDonald.
Congratulations to Aiden. On behalf of Darren's home, who would you like to present this check to?
Autism Community Together.
A lot of hype surrounding the game against the Teason High Titans, entering the game undefeated at 7-0. Talk about just the atmosphere at being at home and just playing in front of your home crowd.
Well, we were more excited because they were undefeated too, and playing in the jungle, that's where we like to play and no one else likes to play there, so we just brought the hype. And what we did in practice, we practiced for them, for their middles, because they're strong in the middles, and then we just produced and we put them into the game.
17 kills in that game. You guys were able to take care of business in 3 straight sets. What was that extra motivation? You seem to be playing with a little bit more fire than usual.
Well, knowing that they're Teason Titans, they're always going to be good, knowing the school, and then we were both undefeated too, which we wanted more, so we just brought the fire.
Playing with Mr. Thompson on your minds and in your hearts, how much motivating is that for you guys as a team?
That's a lot, especially because we're defending champions. So we're just going to take that and just use it as more motivation.
Any particular goals you set for yourself for this season?
With the team, the strengths of this year's team is our setter Logan, our outsides, and then our right sides. It goes to middles, liberos, Caleb Tennyson. A lot of good defense, and then our middle blockers are big too. We're deep in the bench. Just the championship, that's all we're looking for.
Congratulations. Stay tuned to our next Dal Rentone Athlete of the Week.
KUAM Sports Athlete of the Week is brought to you by...
This year's NFL Draft started the way most draft charts were drawn up, with the first overall pick going to the Arizona Cardinals was Heisman Trophy winner Kyler Murray from Oklahoma. The dual-threat quarterback has a cannon of an arm, can tuck the ball away, and outrun most defenders on the football field. The lack of size wasn't a problem for the Cardinals, who felt this was their guy. San Francisco got their guy in Nick Bosa. He's heading to the Bay with the second overall pick in this year's draft. Talk about a guy who most believe is NFL ready. Bosa will be that edge rusher the 49ers are looking for. Size, speed, power, and work habit. Bosa enters the NFL as the fourth member of his family to be selected in the first round in the common draft era. Alabama's Kenyon Williams goes third overall to the New York Jets at the defensive tackle position. Williams, a 6'4", 280-pound D lineman, recorded 71 tackles and 8 sacks last season and was 8th in the Heisman voting for 2018. The Jets add a player who's quick off the snap and is a versatile defender who can be used in any front. Turning over to some volleyball news, GCC closed out the World Series of Volleyball matchup against the UOG Men's Volleyball Club 4-1. GCC came from behind to win this series in 5 sets, 22-25, 18-25, 25-16, 25-18, 15-11 for this year's title.
Pulses per minute. That's the rate of your heartbeat when you were born. And as you grow up, you'll get to meet your awesome crew from over 164,000 people on this island. Together, you'll explore some of Guam's 210 square mile land, where you'll get to enjoy hundreds of things to do, from climbing the highest mountain and more, to exploring the deepest trench and more. But that won't be enough for you, so you'll travel more than 1,000 miles to experience 1,000 more things, in more places where you'll meet more faces, until you meet that one person with whom you'll be doing 1,000,000 more things with, until you bring another heart that would beat 180 pulses per minute, and we'll be there, giving you more data for more of those experiences.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boy. All the men with suits and ties and the one on the lady that would bring it down. There's a joint on the corner where the big boys play.
Triple J says yes. Easy financing? Yes. Easy trade-in? Yes. Fast and friendly? Yes. Find the car of your dreams like our Mazda CX-3 at only $19,995 or the Honda HR-V at only $180 per paycheck. Get top market value on your trade-in, explore payment options that work for you, and get pre-approved instantly. We'll even go the extra mile to deliver your vehicle to your home or office. Triple J says yes. Just click, pick, drive, and purchase your next vehicle at triplejguam.com today. Triple J, customers first.
Welcome back. Here's your birthday shout-outs.
Join me, everybody, in celebrating some very special Guamanians as we all say happy birthday to people born on April 26th. Tatum Sablan celebrates birthday number 2 to our handsome Tatum. You are our sunshine, S-O-N, very clever. We love you, say your parents and family. And also happy birthday to Donald Jr. Torres, who celebrates a birthday today. Everyone born on Friday 26th, happy birthday to you.
And this week's winner of a Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club cake, congratulations, goes out to Naki Charfris. You can be a part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by checking us out on our website. That's going to do it for us here on Prime Time. Stay tuned. Extras next.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E. Explore your world.
All right, half a day, everybody. I'm Jason Salas, and if you're streaming us on YouTube or Facebook,